Hello, welcome to Quack Talk. I'm Crystal, and here in Honolulu on a rainy Tuesday morning, we've got a really bright topic for you. Talking about some young people growing out of their comfort zone. What does that mean? We all grow up, right? Well, not all of us, especially guys. Don't ever grow up. But when we do so-called, because everyone graduated now, right? And so what's the next step forward? A lot of people go to the mainland, a lot of people stay in, but what does that transition do to a person, and how do you grow out of things and nurture some new grounds and find different concepts of sexuality? Because as a youth, that's like a big exploratory experimental phase that I think we as parents kind of dread talking about. But we're going to lay it on the table today. We have two wonderful students all the way from New York, but bred here in Hawaii, coming to share their concept of relationships and sexuality with all of you out there. So let me introduce them. In fact, let them introduce themselves. They're old enough to tell us who they are. So why don't you start, Mia?
Okay, hi, I'm Mia Masuda, and I'm from Hawaii, born and raised in Hawaii, went to Punahou School, graduated in 2014, and since then I've been studying at New York University. I'm studying nutrition and chemistry, and I'm home for the summer working for my mom.
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm Helena Schaefer, and I am a sophomore at Sarah Lawrence College, and I also went to Punahou with Mia, graduated in 2014. But I was born in Rhode Island and lived there for 6 years before moving to Hawaii. But I would consider myself bred Hawaii, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So both of you, basically growing up here, your whole teenage years. First of all, tell us what your concept of friendships and relationships were growing up here. Is it different from the mainland? I mean, is there some kind of a more protective nesting as opposed to somewhere like the big city?
I guess for me, the way I feel about my friends here is, I guess I've known them for so long, since I was a little kid at Punahou, and we've all grown up together, and all of our families know each other, and I think that's a lot of it. Like, you know them, they know your families, you're all kind of doing the same things.
So it's a bit incestuous then.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, do you end up dating friends that you grew up with, and is that weird or is that normal?
I feel like that's just part of the trait. Like, when you are so close to people and you get to know them, sometimes that just happens.
It's
and when you're comfortable,
place,
you know people and you have similar connections with Hawaii. But at the same time, that is also, I think, deters people from entering in relationships because everyone's so connected here. Mm-hmm. So it's like, because you get a lot of like the coconut wireless talk, how quickly the news spreads and the gossip, and it's here is because everyone's so tightly knit, it spreads quickly.
Right.
But it's also, there's a sort of comfort to friendships here because they know you, they know kind of what you're about, they know, where you're from.
You don't have to worry about.
You don't have to put a lot of effort into who you are. You're kind of just like, I'm here, and like, this is who I've been, and
you don't have to explain it either.
Right.
Which is
So what's the pros and cons of this comfort, this concept of not having to worry about things here?
Well, okay, we start with pros.
Okay, let's start positive.
Yeah, always start positive. I would say a pro to
Being in a safe
being
place?
in a safe place is feeling like you can be comfortable with yourself. But I guess the double-edged sword of that is that because you've grown up with these people so long, if you feel like you're changing and you want to express something different and it's slightly out of the mold that you've grown up with your whole life and how people see you, it's a little difficult in a community that's so comfortable and like so accepting to show that different side.
Right.
I think,
Okay.
that makes sense.
No, definitely.
But so, when you're in a place, you're in the small pond and you haven't seen that big ocean yet, it's all good, right? I mean, you have all the local sharks, you just deal with it. But when you're thrown into a bigger pond, bigger ocean or whatever, your whole concept of everything, does that just wipe it out and you have to
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear about that.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I grew up very sheltered and very, in a very privileged kind of environment of I never really challenged and thinking for myself, or, I mean, I was to a degree.
Right, to an educational kind of
Right, but not on big things. And
Socially.
right, socially, or I don't know. I always had this kind of comfort of everything.
Just
that was
safe.
Yeah, just a safe
You have
place.
to, you're pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
Right, so going away to school for me, I was in this big city, away from my family, away from my friends, and it was really hard. I had a really tough first year away.
But you expected it to be challenging, right? I mean, leaving a safe place like this
Yeah.
to a big city.
But you never expect the
yeah.
challenges. Yeah, some of the things, because your slate is wiped clean.
Yeah.
It's incredible the kind of like expectations I had that were just completely destroyed.
Like, give us some examples of things that were thrown out.
I mean, coming from Hawaii, everyone is so kind here, so welcoming.
So nice.
And like there really is a spirit of aloha,
Yes.
no matter where you are here, and to a certain degree in anyone. And that is definitely not something I saw in New York, especially on the East Coast. It's a much colder personality. Everyone's kind of focusing on their own path. You know, you walk by someone, they don't just smile randomly, even if it's a stranger.
Oh no, it's because you're going to open
pay
yourself
attention.
up to
Yeah, you don't.
dangers.
Yeah, and that was different. Not feeling like I wasn't able to approach people anymore, and because that was dangerous for me as well, which was a very strange concept that I couldn't be nice to someone without expecting something negative in return.
Right.
And I expected positivity to come back if I was giving out positivity.
So you had to quickly put your guard up,
Yeah,
which you didn't really have before because you
Yeah.
didn't need it.
Yeah.
You built this fence up.
It's hard because here it's really valued to be just like so nice and like
Yeah.
go out of your way to just show everyone you're like
Chat
so
with everybody on the
kind.
street,
Yeah. And you know, I guess there's sort of a selfishness in that because you're like, wow, like yeah. And then New York is just this total opposite where I don't think people are actively mean. I just think it's they're really no bullshit and they're in a hurry. They've got to get places. They're doing big things, and get kind of seeing that for the first time, especially as like a kid who just came out of like Punahou school. You're like, whoa, people are pretty mean. But
People don't work to. It's not a community there. You're alone in a way forever. People aren't as quick to help you. People aren't as quick to foster a place where you kind of feel responsible to take care of the community or be a part of it. It's very easy to kind of say, oh, I'm just one of the thousands, one of the millions. It
So
doesn't
you're
really matter what I do.
You need a survivor instinct.
Yeah.
You needed to put up your guard again.
Which is kind of sad coming
It
from
is
here.
sad.
Yeah, because it's.
But
like
there are
that's-
pros, right?
But there are so many
Okay.
pros.
All
Yes,
right,
so
so
many
bring it on. Why?
Well, I think I've become so much of a stronger person from it because I think I was very passive before, very just, okay, whatever, because that's kind of what you have to do. You don't say to people, no, like, I have to be here at this time and you need to meet me at this time.
You don't
and
ruffle
like,
feathers.
Right, and
Yeah.
sorry if you're
No
not there.
nonsense.
No nonsense.
No
Yeah.
bullshit. New Yorker now.
Right, well, no, not quite, but I don't know. I think it's just, there's a difference between being a mean person, a rude person, and being a person who's like, well, this is like what I'm doing, and I have to do these things, and sorry, like,
Straightforward.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
straightforward attitude.
the honesty. And
Yeah,
I think
the
a lot of
honesty.
time in Hawaii that gets confused for rudeness. And,
Well, they are
And-
rude though
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some also because we take it as like we say it's honesty, and some people take it as rudeness. I lost my train of thought.
Do
It
you
was right
guys
there.
find that, did
Yeah.
you see the change in each other coming back? This is like your second year of college.
oh,
so-
yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I think both of us are more opinionated. We were the kind of people, like, we were both very similar and still are very similar, but we were the people who, no matter what, we didn't want to cause drama. We just wanted everything like, okay, let's just make it good. Let's just be happy. Let's relax. Like, no trouble.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that we probably should have caused some trouble, or at least like been like, no, we
Spoke
should
up,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, speak up. And
Right,
we
right.
swept some things under the rug that could have, and then that's I think because you don't want to ruffle the feathers here, and you're
Right.
because people, why cause anything if you don't have to, or if it's just like a good time.
Well, let's ruffle the feathers a little bit, because you guys are out of there and you see an entirely different perspective coming back and in the safety net. So when you guys left, did you have relationships before you left? Did you have partners or?
Mm-hmm.
So you had
for
a
me,
boyfriend.
I was dating my boyfriend. We started dating senior year of high school.
Okay.
And which sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of common, I guess. Like, seems like a lot of relationships bud at that point, which is bad because you're going away to college, or some people go away to college, and I was pretty set on going away. And so we started dating, and we decided at the end of the year we were going to stay together, and we were both going to the East Coast for college. And the first year we were I wasn't long distance really, because he was in New York State. But it's still, you're not with them every day, you're not in the same environment, you're at different colleges. And honestly, I didn't think it was too hard at the time, but it was something that was impeding me, in hindsight, from really immersing myself in the college experience and being away from like Hawaii stuff, like focusing on New York stuff, putting myself out there. And
you felt he was holding you back.
I didn't really at the time, no, but I guess looking back now, maybe I would have made more friends, maybe I would have done more things.
So you brought that safety net with you, kind of.
Right, because I felt I needed it. I really did, because I was so freaked out being in such a different environment, not really enjoying school that much, scared, missing home, that, I had this sort of crutch.
Right.
And I was very happy, and it wasn't like I was, unhappy.
You just don't realize it until it's
right,
over.
You don't
You're
realize
like,
it.
shit, I had all that time to do
right,
all this stuff.
Right, yeah.
But,
So.
Helena, did you have?
I did not go into school with a relationship, which was really helpful, I think, because almost all of my other friends did. And so I got to see the difference between, and that allowed me to just go out into every situation and never have something to come back to or worry or, have to I feel like that might feel like a burden to me. But teach their own.
But did you feel like when you stepped out into this new world, this new playground, you almost actively pursued, you wanted to embrace so much new experience that you went out and explored all these scenarios? Did you go crazy? Basically. That's like the normal thing to do?
I think I did go crazy because I don't have that crazy personality in me. I'm a very mellow person, very relaxed person, but I did try to throw myself in as many situations as I could to experience as much as I could, because I didn't know that I hadn't experienced this much. And I didn't know that there was so much available to me and so many different people to meet that I felt like I owed it to them to meet all the different people I could, so I could have a better understanding of my environment.
Yeah. When I was in New York last summer, in that Time Out magazine, they had a whole cover topic on the explosive, out of control sexual attitude in the city that people were exploring. Like, dates were just like hopping from bed to bed was such a norm that it's like the new kind of definition of relationships. What do you guys think about that?
I definitely think there's this, being from Hawaii, there's like a
mold.
There's a mold, right? There's a type of relationship that you kind of follow, and probably thought I was going to follow that too, where you date your high school sweetheart, or someone from Hawaii at least, and then you go to college, you do your thing, then you come back to Hawaii and you get married and you have kids,
5 babies,
and then they go to the school you went to, and then it just repeats itself.
Okay.
And I was like, that sounds pretty awesome.
I was like, I'm coming back. Yeah,
right.
Great.
Which
before I left,
okay,
I was like, that's my life path. I'm gonna do this, go do my thing over on the East Coast, and then come back. Yeah,
but not bad. Not hating on that. It's just like, once you go and you see all these different types of people, for me, I was like, whoa, there's so many different outlooks on life. There's so many different ways to live your life. There's so many different
ways to be in a relationship.
Ways to be in a relationship, and I never even knew they existed. So how could I even make any decisions about my life yet when I just learned things like a month ago, And that's how it was for me. So I kind of had to readjust my thinking, and I was like, I feel very different. Like I feel like I've learned so much and I've grown in just how much I know, and I'd like to explore different
Sure.
ways of living.
Yeah.
So I decided I need to just like take a break from my high school boyfriend.
So you broke up with him and shattered his heart.
I don't know if I shattered his heart, but I broke up with him.
Yes, he shattered his heart. But that's part of growing out of your comfort zone and things happening and breaking old safety nets and moving on to different territories. So we're going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, hopefully they'll tell us more about the good things of challenges and you know, off with the old, on with the new kind of thing. So we'll be back.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Mark Shklov. I'd like you to join me for my program, Law Across the Sea, on thinktechhawaii.com. Aloha.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage on the Think Tech Hawaii Digital Network. On Center Stage, every Wednesday at 2 p.m., we talk to artists of all different ilk, playwrights, novelists, poets, singers, sculptors, you name it. We've had all kinds of interesting people on, and we always talk about what they do and how they do it. And what I find most interesting, we talk about why they do what they do, the process of art, what it does for us and our humanity. I hope that you will come and join us, and maybe you'll get inspired to bring out your creative spirit as well. That's Center Stage on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock on the Think Tech Hawaii Digital Network.
Aloha! Hello, my name is Patrick Bratton. I'm host at Global Connections here at Think Tech Hawaii. We broadcast live every Thursday at 1 p.m. We bring Hawaii to the world and the world to Hawaii, talking about international events and various things of interest to the audience. Please join me. I look forward to talking with you and having you get to meet some of my guests. Aloha.
Welcome back to Quack Talk. I'm Crystal here with Mia and Helena, talking about the wonderful changes with leaving somewhere safe and going somewhere big as in the Big Apple. And it doesn't have to be there, right? It could be anywhere, as long as you go off island or just change your perspective. Sometimes it takes that to grow up. So we were talking about your growth and leaving old things and going into college. Well, actually, in fact, before I go on with you guys, is if you have anything to say or share or talk about, please, you can tweet us. I think you guys know the number. It's ThinkTechHI. Or call us. We have a line. We can just feed you through and talk to us right now. It's 415-871-2474. I'd love to hear from you. So let's
It's a good question.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Okay. If we have Aloha Spirit, what does New York have? What would you call it? New York has a bite.
Bustling.
Yeah,
definitely.
It has, but the thing that's very similar, I guess, it's not the opposite. It is in a lot of ways, but in Hawaii, there's this sense of pride of being from Hawaii, which I love, and like everyone's like, we love Hawaii, we're all from it. If you're somewhere random and you meet someone else from Hawaii, you have like a million things to talk about.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's totally the same thing with someone from the city. They're all so proud to be in New York, and because it's hard to live there.
Yeah.
It's expensive. People are intense. Like, it's kind of gross sometimes.
A little dirty.
And like, you're all in it together, and it's this communal thing, and you're like, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, we're New Yorkers now. Yeah, being a New Yorker is like a large sense of pride. Comes with that.
Right, yeah. And so that, for me, is very similar to that. It's definitely not Aloha Spirit, but
But I like that, the bite.
The bite, yeah.
bite,
Just a
but
punch,
like,
a kick, something.
Yeah, it's
right?
It's,
And it feels
sometimes it can be
cool to,
good
like,
and
be in
sometimes
it.
it can be a little bad,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing.
Have you guys dated like a real New Yorker or that type of that with a bite?
not yet, no.
You still on the safe side?
I did start dating someone from Yonkers, which is right up above the city, and he definitely has a bit of that a New York bite to it. I don't know what. Yeah, I guess that's the only thing you can call it.
Rough and tough.
It's a little rough and tough. Yeah,
That's sexy to some people.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, definitely. Like, I think it's also probably a male thing too. Like a little bit of a little attitude.
Macho
Yeah,
thing?
he like they don't like people also messing with them. If someone messes with that pride, that's a very bad thing. Like, if someone like calls out New York, like if you go to a bar and this game is on and someone is in that bar that's not from New York, that person is going to get a lot of trouble from the rest of the New Yorkers, I think.
So that goes back to the New York pride.
Yeah, the New York pride, definitely.
What about in the schools then? Do you hang out with people who are more closer to your kind of hometown type, or you actually go out there and embrace different types? You guys live in the dorms or in the apartments?
We live in dorms.
Dorms,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so it's pretty integrated, right? Aren't the bathrooms
I have a
sex?
little different, so I lived
Okay.
in a home, but that was a dorm for our school
right.
with like 15 people, and we have 3 bathrooms within the, so I didn't have communal showers,
Oh,
I didn't
good.
have
Lucky
communal
you.
floor, yeah. And I don't think there's any communal bathrooms at my school, actually.
Huh.
We have like a very specific, we have a very different
You don't
setup,
have
I
the
think.
gender neutral bathroom?
We have some gender neutral bathrooms,
Oh.
definitely, because we're a school with a large variety and range of gender, like people of different genders, different sexualities. So they're trying to find more inclusive ways of creating those smaller populations on our campus and making sure they're just as integrated and just feeling just as a part of the community and comfortable in that community.
So with that whole bathroom movement, did your college go, step up on that?
I think they did, definitely, and my school is very proactive about issues regarding gender and sexuality. There's still a lot more to be done, and I think a lot of schools need to look at the complexity of gender and sexuality, because it's hard to even create a gender-neutral bathroom because of gender itself is so complex, and so how many different genders does that gender-neutral bathroom actually include?
Right.
And because there are people on such a large spectrum.
That's
I
the
guess.
thing. Mia, you actually mentioned last time you thought Obama was stupid for bringing it out. Do you want to expand on that one?
Yeah, you can fight me on this.
I don't know, I don't know much, so I want to...
I think that was a dumb thing of him to... obviously, coming from a good place, right? I'm totally for use whatever bathroom you want.
Right.
But I think he really put kind of a light on something where people just hate Obama, so they're gonna just like argue him, and now they're suing him on this thing, and I don't know. I feel like it wasn't necessary
The way to go about it.
for him to
don't know
do an
much about
ordinance.
it.
Oh, he just said he made I'm not quite sure, some sort of mandate that all schools should allow anyone to use the bathroom they identify with.
Gotcha. Okay.
How do you feel about that? Because coming again from the safety of Hawaii, did you have gender issues here, and compared to New York, which is so diverse, how has your concept of sexuality and gender changed?
Mine has gone through the window.
What does that mean?
Everything I took here, I threw out completely. And after that first year, and just being put in that completely new position, and also an environment that focused so heavily on it, that was like really the front of most discussions that I had with classmates that I first met, teachers that I first met, anyone. That was like really within the first 10 minutes that was brought up. And for me, I had to that made me grapple with my own sexuality, and seeing so many of my friends struggle with identifying as a different gender. I think in Hawaii we have a very closed-minded, we like to compartmentalize, and we like to label different categories, and I learned at my school that I didn't label whatsoever. You can't label no matter what, and so that helped me. I now identify as bisexual, and I don't think I could have said that here in Hawaii right before I left for college.
But do you think you were always bisexual? Or
Yeah, definitely.
So it wasn't something that changed you. It was something that brought out or distinguished or had
Comfort.
The comfort, yeah, because you're surrounded by other people that I think here we just you don't talk about it here as much, and you don't see, I grew up not knowing anything about the trans population.
Oh, right.
And
It's
going to
just not-
school, I have, majority of my friends are trans, and I have trans friends in every class that I'm in, and it's such a prevalent part of my life that I see now, and I couldn't believe that here I wasn't knowledgeable about any of it. I didn't learn about any of it. There was no media on it. There was nothing for me to absorb that knowledge.
But do you think that's more of a, I don't want to say trendy, but a generational thing that everyone has come out with? It was the gay issue last decade, but now it's the trans, and everyone's just kind of coming out and grappling with who they are and exploring.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
I think
people really change? Or?
I think it's been something that's always, I think this has always happened since the beginning of time.
Right.
I think it's just the environment you're in, if you're comfortable to talk about it. And now,
Yes.
especially in New York, that's a very progressive environment.
Yes.
And coming back here, I even talk about it with some of my family members or and they get very uncomfortable and they just want to shut it down and change topics but it's very like it doesn't seem like a big deal to me anymore.
Good.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, I would say, especially talking with older people who say our generation's like kind of overly PC or like kind of
Right.
whatever, which to some degree I can see. Like, we can't get offended at everything, but I'm very proud of our generation for being such a open and
Right.
And for saying
fluid,
that, and,
right, generation.
and to combat, like, is it just a phase? I think that's something that our generation gets a lot because
Yes.
we're still in this age group. But I think the difference about like this generation and bringing up these issues is it's not just a phase, like, and that's what we're trying to tell and bring to the table is people need to not just write it off, and they need to understand that it's just a part of life, and just because they haven't seen it in the past and it wasn't present in the past doesn't mean it wasn't there, and they need to now change their views to be more inclusive. And I think that's one thing that I really, really noticed. And coming back, and some people found out I was dating a girl, or they were like,
Did
"Oh,
they
what's-"
label you, or
Yeah,
did
they were
they
like, "Oh, are
kinda-
you a lesbian now? Like, what's
Right,
going on?"
right,
And I was
right.
like, "No, I like, she's just another person, like
That
just
you
another
were
personality
attracted to,
I
right.
liked." Yeah, and to see them say, "Well, maybe it's just a fit. You're just in college. Like, that's just the college you're at." It's like, no, you need to take my sexuality seriously. Like, I'm old enough to tell you who I am and how I feel, and you need to not just write that off. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, a very frustrated part of like this topic in millennials who talk about it, is they tend to just be written off.
You're right.
Yeah.
People like to judge.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want to just go back a little bit. You're saying that in Hawaii, people do compartmentalize and are more conservative in their perspective on sexuality. But having said that, the old Hawaiian culture, they embraced it. It was all very open. So it's quite ironic, isn't it?
Exactly. That's I think the most complex part about Hawaii is it seems like a lot of opposites together. It's such an accepting community, yet we don't talk about it. It's there's just a lot of like opposites and contradictions. Yeah.
Did you guys have LGBT clubs at Punahou?
Yes.
Was there someone that
We
encouraged?
had one. We had a club, and then there was also you in your. It's you get there's a unit on LGBTQ.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
In your in the freshman year, they talk
It
about
doesn't look
yeah,
like
well,
she took that class.
It's freshman year, and then your
okay.
peer counselors. It's a unit, but it's changed every year because the topic is changing. So
Right.
it's very hard to keep like what we learned 4 years ago. It used to just be LGBT. Now
Right.
it's LGBTQIA. Like there's so many.
Right. Wow.
So many letters.
So many letters.
How do you educate your parents? Like, do you talk to your parents about
Yeah.
relationships and what you're going through, and how much do you kind of share with them?
I don't. That one's hard for me. I love my family. They're very accepting of all the things I do. But I think a lot of times they think, Mia, she's just going. Yeah, she's going through phases. She's figuring things out. She hasn't found this yet or that yet, and which that they're wiser and older and definitely have more perspective on things. But I do think this generation is so different that it's hard to kind of paint it all with the same brush.
Right.
And I don't know. I think you've got a lot of experience with that.
I mean, because I started dating this girl, and then I had to kind of tell my parents, like, hey, I have a girlfriend now.
Right. They respond to that.
Yeah, and what I did, it was really funny with my mom. I just kind of like, I was just showing her pictures of my friends. I was like, oh yeah, and I've been dating that girl, and I just kept swiping. She's like, wait. Yeah, she was like, excuse me, and I wanted to do it like that because I wanted to show her that it wasn't a big deal. And like that's, I think, talking to my parents, they thought that was this huge change for me, and I wanted to like let them know that no, it's a very small part of my life, but it is a part of my life. But it's like just because that's my sexuality didn't define how I like my whole entire life. And I know my mom, I think she makes the joke like, I can't get you straight, and I'm like, well, I'm not. That's why. Like, I'm not straight. And I think definitely like my parents still they're anxious to see what happens in the next coming out of New York still, if it's just a phase. And
Do they throw their hands up in the air going, oh my God, I don't know what she's doing, I've lost track, it's not,
I think they're at this point, but I mean, they're accepting, but I think it's just so complex. It's just such a different,
complex.
and it's such a different way of being in a relationship than they know.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're just trying to understand it. And in Hawaii, because I might be the only one that they know in this kind of relationship, they don't have other people to be like, well, can you help me understand it too?
And it's like a Hawaii thing too, to be like, oh, you know, she's bi now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's such a label though, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I don't know how you folks out there feel. I bet you a lot of people have not even heard of people being bisexual. It's just, it's so labeling. So we're talking about this, and if you guys have comments or questions or anything you want to talk about, just give us a call. We have a little more section left. We're going to take a quick break and talk to us. Tell us what you think, all right? We'll be back.
Aloha, my name is Justine Espiritu, and I am the co-host of Hawaii Farmers Series. This is my co-host, Matthew Johnson, and we are live with you every Thursday at 4 p.m. at thinktechhawaii.com. And our show focuses on Hawaii's local food community. We feature not only the farmers that are producing our food, but we also feature the supporters and other folks involved in the community that are trying to promote local agriculture.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on Think Tech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1340. Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on Think Tech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1345. We look forward to seeing you. We'll talk tech and we'll have some wee bit of fun. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
Aloha, my name is Kirsten Baumgart Turner, and I'm the host of Sustainable Hawaii at thinktechhawaii.com. We air live on the internet and also on Oceanic Channel 16. I'd invite you to come for a fresh new show every Tuesday from 12 to 1 o'clock. I try to bring on guests that give us a different viewpoint on aspects of sustainability in Hawaii, as well as trying to unpack some of the difficult concepts of measuring and achieving sustainability, particularly with regard to sustainable economic growth and prosperity in Hawaii. Please join us every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. Mahalo. Aloha.
Welcome back to Quack Talk. I'm Crystal here, talking to two wonderful university students about sexuality. Wow, you know, we laid it out, we put a lot of different perspectives on it and bisexuality and what that is. So I'm going to, at this point, bring in my lovely partner, Zuri Bender, who's in the panel right now. Hey, Zuri, you there?
Hello, hello.
Yay! Nice photo. So nobody knows what Zuri looks like because she's the one all the way, you know, controlling the whole panel. So Zuri, you know, you went away, right? You left for the mainland for a little bit and came back. So what's your perspective on what these girls are talking about?
Actually, I was raised in the mainland. I'm from Minnesota originally. And it was so strange for me to go from a small town to a large college. I went to Minneapolis, the University of Minnesota. Everything these girls are saying is exactly how I felt. I just felt like, oh my gosh, I'm totally in a new place. I have to find myself all over again. And then the more I would tell people about myself, the more they would kind of question like, wait, have you always been like this? But I've always been so sexual that it was kind of easy for people to accept me as being bi, because it's never like, I've never had a girlfriend. You know what I mean? But I've definitely had relationships where it's like, okay, we're more than friends, but we're not in an exclusive relationship. But, you know, coming out here to Hawaii, seeing the diversity of sexuality, especially your gender, what do you think about their reactions to that?
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I think I'm like conservative old school where we didn't have those options. I personally have been attracted to women in my life, but never even dared to go that way because it wasn't something that I thought was accepted, or, you know, it was kind of,
That's really
yeah,
interesting.
it wasn't somewhere we were allowed to explore.
And that might be part of the increase. When people say, well, so many more people are like bisexual now and so many more people, I think it's just more an awareness of those people and it being able as a formerly straight person or something to be comfortable and saying, hey, I want to, like, now that everyone else is like talking about it and doing it, I think like
Does it make it okay now? then?
it makes it easier to express that part of yourself. And so I think in that people are thinking, oh, the populations are rising. I think people are just being more honest with themselves and people are being more accepting of receiving that honesty.
Right. Wow. Zuri, that was a very good point. So with your perspective on that though, how do you feel that the whole world's changing? Do you think that the whole online social media is affecting it, or what's the catalyst of why people are blending so much now?
Actually, the more I learn about it from a cultural standpoint, I think this is something that has always happened throughout time. I feel like now it's just more of a social media issue just because people like to rally around issues, especially if they were like, oh, I'm so different, they felt like they didn't have anywhere to connect. But with social media, it's so easy to connect.
Yes. Right, right. And that's why we're here too, in a way, right?
Exactly.
We're connecting everyone from this small island to the world and the different perspectives on something that we all deal with. Yeah.
And these are incredibly important issues too. It's something at the core of yourself.
Yeah.
So I think.
And we're a more connected generation, I think, and we're more, because of that, we have more interactions with people who might be different than what we
grew up with,
right? So we're like, okay, why am I going to be against transgender people when my friend's transgender? Like, why am I going to be against gay rights when my friends are gay? Like, so it's more like, it's in our face more, it's accepted more, and so therefore I think we're less shocked by it. And I think that's really important. I do think social media, the interconnectivity of our generation, plays a big part of that, and shouldn't be written off as just a stupid thing.
But there are always going to be pseudo conservative groups who will never change, who will never support these open-minded ideas. Do you think that that's just something we have to accept, or you think we can change that, or how do you embrace who you are while knowing that the world is not really encompassing?
I think this is like an issue I've started to change my views on a lot, and I used to think, oh, well, I can't change some people's opinions, I'll just let it go, and especially for some older people, I'm like, well, just let them live their life the way they've lived it this way their whole life, how are they going to change now? But lately I've felt this like need to not like what we were saying in the beginning, being more opinionated in it. I want to make people understand, and I will probably be in their face about it because I think it's so important to understand for the general health of the world, the global population. So I think I'm much more active about trying to get people to understand and not just letting them, and not just saying, oh, well, there'll always be these people. I want to change their minds, and I will do everything in my power to change their minds because it's that important, I think.
I feel a little differently.
That's
but no, I agree. I think, yes, everyone should be accepting. Yes, everyone should not care what another person does with their private life or anything, as long as it's not affecting anyone else. But also, I see this side of, we're so privileged. We live in, such a progressive city like New York, Hawaii, a progressive place, America, such a progressive country, that you can't really say, like, a lot of people, they just don't understand it for reasons that have to do with,
Ignorance?
I think it's easier not to. I think it's easier not to accept that there's all of this new stuff that you haven't previously known or accepted, or
Right.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. Just
Going back to the small pond, they're happy with who they know and everybody
it's a
in
good
there.
community. Why change something that's good?
And can't really bash that. It's hard for me to.
Yeah. And for me, I guess
that.
I feel for me, I kind of feel like why are these people choosing to be ignorant or choosing to be naive? Like I think.
So, but you guys, okay, so you've seen the world. You've gone out there. You've been from a place that you've embraced growing up, but you've seen so much more out there. Can you come back to this world? Can you live in this small world now?
Well, I
with what
love
you know
Hawaii.
that's happening out there?
I love Hawaii.
Love Hawaii.
Always will.
Always will.
Definitely want to like at some point live here, but I don't think I could live here like at this point of my life right now.
Definitely not now.
Yeah, just because it's like
It's too small right now. And once you get a taste of the big pond, it's very hard to return. It's
Yeah.
very hard.
I'd rather be like dumb in like the city and like oh everyone's so mean, but it forces me to like
Stay afloat and challenge yourself.
yeah
right?
challenge myself.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge that now
Yeah,
it's like
I don't want
kind
life
of
to
cool.
be easy anymore. I want to do things that are hard and difficult.
Good.
Yeah, challenges.
So you want to go against the tide a little bit. You want to
Yeah.
swim that big ocean
Yeah.
and strengthen yourself. You know,
Yeah.
your muscles build from that, right?
But I think at first leaving, when we first got to it, we both kind of
Yeah,
were like,
hated
oh,
it.
I don't think we
I
want
want
to do
to
this.
come home.
I don't think we want the big ocean. And then the more you just force yourself to kind of stay and challenge yourself, the more you want to challenge yourself, which is
Right.
Yeah, I think
Because
we've
you
both
see
grown.
all this growth, and you know, just for the two of us, we're like, whoa, we're so different, and like it's like been good changes.
And we're
nothing
still
bad,
two,
yeah.
and we're still like best friends. We're still like
Right.
have the base of Hawaii within us.
Right.
But we're able to change and like accept both changes, and I don't know. Yeah, it's like very cool to grow up with someone and then be able to change with them in the same place. And like, so I think we both have a very good understanding of like the growth that we've had. with
So
each other.
with that growth and with the challenges ahead, if you were to give some suggestions, some wise thoughts to people who've graduated here and have the chance to go abroad or are about to, well, give them all a little piece of your wisdom.
Okay, I would say it's probably coming out of high school. You think you're like pretty set on what you want to do. You feel like you know everything. You're old. You're done with high school, and you're going to college. And I would say just keep an open mind, first of all. And don't let your first year away influence your decision on staying. Because for me, my first year, I hated it. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get out of this place. Like,
Go
this is
home.
not for
Yeah,
me.
go home,
Right.
yeah.
And sticking it out is like, I don't know, it's just kind of getting past that first tough thing. And then you're like, whoa,
It's
I did
almost
it.
like not giving up in a way. Not to say like people are giving up if they return home after a year, but when you challenge yourself, the reward for sticking that challenge out and it becoming a positive outcome later is, I think, so much more rewarding than kind of giving up and like returning to like the easy life or returning home. Yeah.
You know, girls, you guys have it. You guys got it. You know, what can I say? I mean, that's just the best thing. You guys are wise, young women. And I'm going to take that and wrap it up. And thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you
our
for
show
having me.
today.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
you enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten a different level of insightfulness on gender issues, sexuality, and what it means to grow up. So take that bite. Go out there and embrace it and enjoy what you have. So thank you again for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you, girls.
Thank you.